Okay, so here's the second set for I do, we do, you do. I'm going to solve -4 plus x equals -6 plus 1/5 x. Let me get to, okay. So we've got -4 plus x equals -6 plus 1/5 x. This is a plus sign. Okay, so the first thing is we want to move our variables all to the same side of the equal sign. Once again, I always like to start with the variable that is less. Now, if you have a calculator, you want to make sure you're doing that. Now, 1/5, so this is a fraction, so that looks a little bit different than what we're used to. Just a reminder, this means 1 divided by 5. So if I'm putting this in my calculator, I like to put my fractions in parentheses and then 1 divided by 5. So this is how I would put that into the calculator. Okay, so I want to move the positive 1/5 x to the other side. So the opposite of adding 1/5 x is subtracting 1/5 x. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Now remember, if you have just an x with no coefficient, there's an understood 1 in there. So in the calculator, I'm going to put 1 minus 1/5. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and you should get 4/5. So I have -4 plus 4/5 x equals -6. The 1/5 minus 1/5 x cancels out. Okay, so now my x's are all on the left side, so I need to move this -4 to the right side. The opposite of -4 is adding 4. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So -4 plus 4 is 0, so I have 4/5 x left on the left side. -6 plus 4, if you don't know, make sure you're using your calculator. That's -2. Okay, so now I want 1x. So even though it's a fraction, I still do the same thing as if it was a whole number. So that means I need to divide both sides by 4/5 to get that to 1x. So in the calculator, I'm going to put -2, divide it by, and then in parentheses 4 divided by 5. Okay, so in the calculator, I put -2 divided by, in parentheses 4 divided by 5. Okay, and so I get x equals -2.5. And I can check it by going back to the original equation, and I'm going to substitute -2.5 in for x, and I can just use the calculator. So on the left side, I have -4 plus 1, and then in parentheses, -2.5, and that equals -6.5. And then I'll do the right side, -6 plus, in parentheses, 1/5, close parentheses, and then my x in parentheses, -2.5, close parentheses. And I get -6.5. So that tells me that this problem is correct. Okay, you're going to do the others on your own.